huge like kaiju monster with the fire breath. That's sick, dude. Like, what the heck?
He's like in his basement with a stack of tapes, a really good Ripper, and like a dream.
Koba Nation. It was Koba. Yeah.
You have to embrace what's special about you. Morgan Freeman, like it.
Do you wanna watch manga? We decided Koba was right.
Which was just, I mean, fantastic.
Guys?
Cam, we can hear you.
You can hear me.
You can hear him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Man. Guys, we're back with the Webbinar Seminar gang. Thank you guys for being here. It's going to be an awesome night. We got lots to talk about, lots of crazy stuff. We're going to be breaking down CinemaCon. We're going to be breaking down The Switch 2 has arrived. It's coming later this year, right? Right, Dave?
This summer.
This summer. Let's go. And, of course, I'm your host, the brand new Mac. I'm here. I'm new and improved.
New Mac.
Hopefully we have some.
Brand new Mac.
Hopefully it's a brand new day for this podcast because, geez, these audio problems. But we're gonna get through it, Dave. We've got our producer, Dave, the Karate Kid himself, the Karate VHS Kid, slashing deals, getting those eBay sales.
Yes.
And we've also got 28 Jacobs later himself, stall naked. How's it going, man?
It's going well.
I like the setup, looking fresh.
Thanks.
We got some guests tonight. Colin, Savvy Sears himself. He's
me.
straight off the cuff of seeing Minecraft. Give us one word description of how you felt about the Minecraft movie. One word.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Whoa.
I was not expecting
No.
to enjoy it. I was like, this could be really bad, but I liked it.
Dang. And for the second time in webinar history, we have a female on the pod. Swalk, Sarah, Jacob's wife is here. Sarah, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
It's gonna be fun. Well, let's get into this. Wade, you're gonna be breaking down some physical media stuff for us, starting off the right, Wade.
Yeah. I think first though we should go into this.
Yeah, this is so sad. Val Kilmer has died at 65 years old. My first memory of him has got to be Batman Forever, but maybe that's just because like from being a kid, you know. But do you guys have any thoughts about Val Kilmer pass? He's a legend, obviously. Awesome actor. I think of like Heat. I think of, Iceman from Top Gun. Do you guys have any thoughts on Val Kilmer passing?
One I always think of is Prince of Egypt. Just say that.
Oh, yes, Prince of Egypt. That's a great one.
My
something?
dad texted me and said he was really sad, which is how you know it was probably a pretty big thing that happened.
Yeah,
Dang.
true.
Yeah. Anybody else? You have any Val Kilmer moments? Some iconic moments? He did show up in Top Gun Maverick. That was kind of cool.
That was a really good last scene for him. You know, kind of hard to watch because he looked rough, but
Yeah, he was battling. Was it throat cancer?
Yeah, I think it's throat cancer.
Yeah,
and they like reconstructed his voice, or the process that they used to do that was actually really cool. But I'd say from probably since I was younger, probably Top Gun is what I remember him most in, and Batman obviously. But yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah. Who will forever be missed, but that's awesome. Yeah, he's got a cool portfolio of movies, we can go back and enjoy. So that's super cool. But let's jump into Wade, your first question for us for the night.
Yeah,
just a little bit of an opening topic.
Yeah, let me just preface, guys. I mean, for anyone first time viewing, I'm a huge physical media collector. So is Jacob and Cam. Colin, are you a physical media guy?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
He looked over at his shelf. He said, "He like making sure it's still there." Oh yeah,
yeah.
All 200 or so of my movies on my shelf.
Yeah. So some of my biggest fears have always been, physical media dying out in favor of digital. So with the rise of streaming service platforms and sales of physical media dropping, it seemed like the first like nail in the coffin for it was last year, 2024, when Best Buy announced that they were no longer carrying any physical media in store. Uh, and Nintendo announced something last week before the Switch 2. It was just a Nintendo Direct, which may actually be the official burial, and I'll explain why I think that. But so last week, Nintendo revealed their virtual game card, uh, and this allows for game transfer from one Nintendo Switch to another, and even game sharing between friends with a virtual game card. And before I start on this, I want to say that I think this is actually the best form of digital gaming I've ever seen. It's truly like having a physical game card, but only on the interwebs. Um, but Nintendo has usually been a mainstay for physical game and that kind of stuff. Uh, while other gaming companies have kind of tried to move away from it, and while yes, Xbox and Sony both still have provided some physical releases, but both have kind of made dedicated content that are digital only with no option of game disc. And on top of that, they make the game disc versions more expensive, which obviously because it's more hardware. But now Nintendo has provided a way to basically freely share and transfer your game data to new consoles or to share with friends without having the need for an actual physical game cart. And obviously they have some limitation for it. Like I think you can only share one game at a time with one person, and it's only for like 2 weeks. But I mean, this gives any kind of kids and parents who don't like the stacks of games. There's absolutely no reason for them to even buy a physical game. So everything's kind of neatly stacked for you in a database and easily transferable. So for me as an avid retro game enthusiast, I always will be purchasing the physical game if I can help it. And I think there's still going to be collectors of physical media around our age and older, but they're becoming fewer and far between, and even people who are around our age are switching to digital just because of how easy it is. And I think right now, I think they're barely staying afloat with sales of physical, and this I think is going to be an iceberg that hits the Titanic to officially start the sinking. So.
Dang, I can't believe this is actually happening.
Yeah, and I mean, even the Switch 2, we'll get to that later tonight, but they're actually not even calling if you look at the fine print, they're actually not even calling the games, they're calling them key cards. So basically just to like prove you own the game, and you have to have enough space, and it actually does the download of the game instead of, like just having the game card is enough to start and play. Like they're actually going to do the download like PlayStation and Xbox have been doing. So guys, is physical media on its last legs? What do you guys think?
I think it is. I mean, but if you think about it, in like 20 years, everything's gonna be digital. You're not gonna be able to go out and get a disc anymore. You know what I mean? Or like go to a GameStop and get a used game
Cam?
for cheaper. I don't know. What are these older games that are gonna become just in the web? You can't actually own it for real. You know what I mean? It's in your Switch, but they could discontinue the service, I guess, at some point, and the game could cease to exist. I don't know. Is that possible?
I think for sure it's definitely possible. And that's kind of what scares me about the future of like games or movies, because Jacob and I are big physical media hoarders.
Yeah,
and so
hoarders,
I like having it because I mean, it's one thing on your system like the Switch, and then you have the game like downloaded, but there's a lot with just streaming or in general access to this cloud. And it feels a little bit conspiratorial, doomsday prepper of me, but like I just don't trust it as much. And I would like to be able to know that if something went down, even if it's just like power grid or whatever, and I've got one of those stupid little portable DVD players, I could play a movie that I want to see. It's stuff like that. And it is sad to think that one day that won't even be an option. We'll just have the old stuff that we can hold on to. So.
Yeah, I definitely see it happening in the future. Just like you said, I mean,
I think
hard to say. We'll see.
Yeah, Jake.
I think he froze.
He froze for
Jake's
sure.
bugging. I think it's
this happened last time, but we'll jump him back in a minute.
He'll get back in.
I have a thought.
Okay, Colin, go for
it,
bro.
I kind of agree with Sarah, because there's even like now companies or studios will lose the distribution rights to certain movies, and they won't make it anymore. and then you can't get it anywhere. You can't get it on streaming. Like you have to maybe bootleg it offline somewhere. So if like there's a movie you really like and you don't have it physically, it goes off streaming. It goes off like even to rent or buy it. Like you can't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of scary in that sense, because I'm also a big digital guy too. Like I like having stuff like on my Fandango account or my Vudu. Like Cam and I share one.
Yeah.
And they have like really good deals all the time. But it's like, yeah, what happens if they lose the rights to like even distribute this? Like I won't be able to watch this anymore, type of thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's the thing. It's like it'd be great if we could have both, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it just the people are not buying physical at all. You know, like
Yeah,
DVDs and
go to your
Blu-ray
Walmart,
sales,
local
4K,
Walmart, and it's like
they're so
it's sad.
down.
Yeah.
So
It's a great idea, you know what I mean? Like, because then it's very convenient. You could just bring your game
Mm-hmm.
card. The little Jimmy can run over to Timmy's house and with his game card, plug it in, play the same games with his friend. You know, like he's bringing the disc over, basically. You know.
Yeah.
But what if you lose that, or what are they going to be doing? Selling their game cards, whatever, like their little chip, like online. This has these games inside of it. I guess I don't know.
it's like an NFT almost. You know, like you're selling. But that's not how it's going to
Get
be.
locked
Though.
out
It's
of
like
your
once you
account.
lose your console, I think it's just gone.
Dang, Jake.
Yeah. It is cool to think about games having like a completely new life after you've finished one and haven't touched it. If you're not really much of a collector, you don't want to replay it. Yeah, the idea of being able to pass it on to somebody else or somebody else buying it and it just keeps living on
But
is
it's
great.
gone.
And you're right. Like what do you do when it's just all being stocked up, taking up your storage space?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey
well.
Jacob, what were you going to say before you got rudely interrupted?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I can see physical media, movies mainly, sticking around for at least our lifetimes because of something like vinyl. You know, they still press vinyl. Now it's become a niche. It's become a collector's thing. It's become a an oddity almost. But I can see them still saying, you know, if people are like, I want to own this album, I'm going to go get the vinyl. You know what I mean? There's people who are into that. I think they're still going to make collector's editions of movies for people like that. I don't think it's going to be mass market though. At most, it's going to be something like, I don't know, you can get vinyls like on one end cap in like a Target or a Barnes and Noble, something like that. Nothing too big though. So
What do you think they'll choose? 4K probably, or Blu-ray? Like what's
I don't
gonna
know.
be?
I think 4K is pretty much the standard because the only disc players people are going to have are going to be Xboxes and PlayStations, and they can run a 4K disc, so that's fine. Now, what's
Absolutely
interesting, and you're
crazy.
talking about the death of physical media, is you know, someone like me is always presented with the dilemma of I have a really nice 4K TV where I can tell the difference between a 4K image and an HD image. But there's movies now that they'll only release them on DVD and Blu-ray, but digitally they'll release it DVD or on up to 4K quality, because they say, oh, it's not worth making a 4K disc. Not enough people are going to buy it. Because if you look at a pie chart of disc sales, I think like 60% of disc sales are still DVD, and then like 25% are Blu-ray, and then only 5% are 4K. It's a pretty niche market, so. There's a lot of movies that come out now. Not a lot, but and especially not big things. But if a smaller movie comes out and they release it and they manage to release it physically, it might only get a Blu-ray where the streaming version is 4K, and that's where it's like, well, you know, I think I got to go with the higher quality. You know what I mean? It's a pretty interesting predicament.
Crazy stuff happening. That's yeah. Wade.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because avid, you know, collector of physical media. So it makes me sad, but you know, at least we have what we have, you know, already. You can still buy stuff on eBay that's old, but like anything new, it's like hopefully they're still coming out with stuff like Jacob said, but we'll have to see.
Will the collections become more expensive? That's the question.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's
Retro
interesting
games
to
are
think
are
about.
still very expensive, you know, and they're only going up. So
Crazy stuff. Awesome. Wade, any final thoughts on that?
Nope, that's it. Let's move on to.
Yeah, let's move on. We've got 3 episodes of Daredevil Born Again to get through. We're gonna try to be quick. Try to do this in 10 minutes. Let's do it. All right, the first one, episode 5. We've got the bank robbery scene with Mr. Khan as the assistant bank manager from Miss Marvel, and you got Matt there. He's kind of trying to keep his secret identity, but also kind of trying to help the situation. How'd you guys feel about this? This kind of, people are saying it's more of a filler episode, but I think this does kind of help with the arc of Matt kind of accepting the role that he's like, hey, he's trying everything he can to not do this as Daredevil, but it's kind of, by the end, he puts that mask over his face. How do you guys feel about this? Him kind of jumping into Daredevil.
You nailed it. You nailed it, Cam. This episode was all about him putting a mask on. It obviously wasn't the Daredevil mask, but he got to a point where he was so feeling like he needed to be involved that he covered his face. That's what he's been fighting against the whole season, and it took this odd interaction, this odd day of his life to really kind of give him that push.
Yeah. Any of you guys?
He's just desperate to beat people up. I mean, and we'll see this in the later episodes too. And it's just been clawing at him. God, this poor guy. But he straight up marched back in there knowing that it only could end with him beating somebody up. It doesn't track for him to legitimately think, yeah, I can talk the bank robbers out of this. That's from a purely emotional perspective, like that's totally not what he was going for. He went in there kind of knowing what was going to happen and just kind of waiting for it. He was waiting for a good excuse.
I love it. Yeah, I kind of love it.
Yeah, he said the line, after he opened the bank vault, and he's like, how did you do that? He's like, I'm a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
Or what? No, do you say, what kind of lawyer are you? That's the classic.
I'm a really good
Daredevil.
lawyer.
Yeah,
Really good lawyer.
I like that it was like St. Patty's Day. It was kind of playing up his Irish heritage as well.
And it came out like right near St. Patty's Day, so that was kind of funny.
Yeah, and they're kind of like they figure out that he's Irish, obviously, and like kind of playing into that. So I thought that was interesting. And by the end, he obviously they use that jewel or whatever as leverage. But did you guys notice this? I caught this that all the robbers were wearing a different color mask, but it was all the Infinity Stone colors, but except for orange. But the crystal was orange. So all of the Infinity Stone colors were the villains. That was kind of interesting. I don't know.
Probably means nothing, but
it
means nothing.
I thought it was just a rainbow for St.
Maybe
Patrick's
that
Day.
too.
That's how
I don't
basic
know.
I thought it was.
At
Very-
some point though, there's only so many colors.
True.
So guys, this means that Thanos is coming back in Daredevil.
They were the boss they were working for was Thanos, trying to get the Infinity Stones.
They did mention a boss. I hope that is
Yeah.
something else.
Oh yeah.
I think that's going to play into something later.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I watched all 3 episodes yesterday, and I think that was probably one of my favorite ones.
Dang.
Really?
I think for its own reasons. Just because, it was like a standalone episode in itself, but you just got to see like Sarah said, it's just Daredevil inside of Matt just clawing, trying to get out. Because he knows what's going to happen. But he knows like, okay, I'm the only one that can go into this bank and put a stop to what they're going to do. And not only put a stop to it, but I want to put a stop to it. Because I know
he's trying to like irk them too. He's trying to annoy them almost. I loved that.
He wasn't being tactful at all. He was
He's like, come on,
desperate.
Crazy. All right, so yeah, by the end, you got this. I thought the Mr. Khan thing was funny, but I think it's kind of interesting they chose him to be in this. I guess just to have another Marvel cameo. It does.
It's
feel
connected,
kind of like,
Cam.
It's connected. Yeah, but he's talking about Kamala. She's in California, so this gets us into episode 6, I believe. Wait, I think we got a picture. Dang. This scene was insane. Matt finally suits up. This whole episode, I'm trying to remember, this whole episode kind of is building up to both Daredevil and Kingpin having to finally get back into it, basically,
Yeah.
right? If I'm correct about saying that. It was pretty brutal. You've got, what was the beginning? Can you guys remember the beginning of this episode? Colin, you watched it yesterday.
Yeah, so because this is where it really starts to focus on Muse because
Yes.
was it Hector's niece comes to see Matt.
Yes,
He's like,
that's
well, you're
right.
not doing anything type of thing. And then that's what leads her over the episode to get caught. And then Matt to suit up and go
Yeah.
find her.
Which they didn't explain how Matt found him, but they just like, oh, he's like in the next episode. He's like, I found Muse in one night.
love-
The cops can't find him. I found him in one night. I was
Well,
like, dang,
'cause
that's kind of cool.
She said like a one-liner of, "Oh, my uncle is investigating people going missing near this place," and Matt just using his powers. I guess.
Okay. So it is kind of a one.
And he probably gets down into those subways and can listen and bounce all around his ears.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this way, this way.
They don't show it as often like in the old show. In the old show, it's like everything's about his hearing. You know, he just stands on the rooftop and he can hear like people being abducted somehow.
He can stand a block away outside of a boardroom and hear what Elektra is saying to them.
Jacob's saying that one because that's the one thing that pissed me off the most. Like that was too much from outside, but it's fine. He's a superhero. Look at it.
I love how Kingpin has to like sit through the children singing or whatever the same song. Is that the same episode?
No, that was way before.
Okay, never mind.
No, this was Kingpin. Remember, he at the same time while Matt is fighting Muse, isn't Kingpin like
he's beating up Adam?
He threw Adam the axe and was like, "I want a fair fight" or whatever, and it was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I think that was episode 7.
That man does not deserve that. That is birth.
Yeah, that was crazy. But basically, everything they're doing, like they're trying to let the system work it out, and it's not working. You know, both of them, which is interesting. Like Kingpin's trying to be good, you know, it's not working. It's not working out
so
for
that's when he goes and gets like all those rogue cops, right, and gets
That's
them
right,
together,
yeah.
and he's like, "You're Hell's Kitchen's finest," you know, like
She's ridiculous.
Which is like straight from the comics, like that one guy North or whatever, you know, the vigilante task force to take out Daredevil, Muse, you know, so pretty cool. They're just pulling stuff from the comics. I like when they do that, actually, even if it's obscure comics. I really like it. A lot of people haven't read Daredevil comics, but you know, let's jump into episode 7. So that fight was crazy with Muse at the end of episode 6. How'd you guys feel about the choreography in that? It's like insane. Matt like chokes him out, saves the girl.
Well, we were laughing. We
totally thought he was just going to dive into killing people again. Like that was so where that was going.
I think Matt was going to kill Muse twice. He was going to kill him in that scene at the end of episode 6, and he was going to kill him at a pretty important point at the end of episode 7 too. And something intervened each time, but he was going through with it. I think, which is
at first I was like, why is Muse so good at fighting? This is stupid. I was like, what? He's just a kid. Like this makes no sense.
And then
like
episode
Daredevil's
7 confirmed he did Taekwondo or whatever.
A Taekwondo master.
He's a black belt in Taekwondo. That's kind of cool.
And he hated it.
You hated that?
No, he hated it.
He was like,
I
hated my master.
He hated it, so he had to start killing people and using their blood for his art. I didn't really catch that. Like, why is he demented like that?
Yes, because he's a serial killer, Cam. He's demented.
Just regular, you know, they put it all on mental illness, of course, which as somebody in that field feels a little bit like, here we go again. But you know, it's an easy one.
They should have had like a kind of a creepier reason for him being creepy. I don't know, you know, but it just seemed like I'm just messed up. I have problems, so I'm gonna use the blood.
It really, the contrast between him versus what they did with Dex Bullseye in the original series was pretty striking, I think, because they both have a very similar kind of background where this whole idea of like their mental health is what's driving it. But obviously, like Bullseye was an entire season's worth of development and learning about kind of what drove him and his battle with actually trying to fix himself. We ended up talking about that for a long time after we watched this episode. So it was just interesting to see the opposite end of that, which was just like maybe 2 episodes that we really gave this guy and 1 fully to learn his backstory, where it was like, yeah, he's just straight up like sociopathic or whatever. And that's about all.
Which works for this kind of show, you know, if you're
they're kind of using him as a tool only. I thought he was going to be the main villain, but they're kind of using him as a plot device to get Matt and Kingpin to a certain point.
It was interesting, you know,
right?
they had his girlfriend again was like another connection for Daredevil again, you know, having her be,
It is interesting.
charge of
Everything's connected. Like
Mhm.
both Muse and Kingpin were getting therapy through her, and Matt's dating her. It's like what? Like
Yeah.
everything's a little too connected. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, Muse is dead, confirmed.
Or is he?
Killed by the girlfriend.
He got
was
shot
done.
5 times in the chest, and he's a regular dude. He's
When
totally
Matt
dead.
like used his baton to like stab him, I was
Yes.
like, "What is
That was
happening?"
intense.
And he
Yes.
dragged him and like
Yes.
made some art.
The blood on
On
He
the
the
made,
ground.
he made the art. Daredevil did the art.
Oh man!
Well, there was a, I think it was the showrunner said something about how Muse was potentially going to be a multi-season arc, which, so I read that article, but there's like 2 theories. It's one, he's actually dead and it's just going to create a bunch of copycats, or 2, he was lying and he's just trying to mess with people. He's just trying to throw people off. But
Interesting.
no, I thought overall,
As if like he was the copycat.
no,
Is
they
that
were
what you
gonna
mean?
like what he was doing was gonna create like a bunch of like copycat serial killers that were gonna start doing like the same thing.
Interesting.
Oh.
Or the showrunner was just lying to people to make it look
Oh,
like
oh,
he was
the
the main
Make it a
villain.
surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Sarah, I really agree with what you were saying, because season 3 of Daredevil is probably my favorite season. Because Dex's whole arc is just so cool, just watching him develop and seeing like, okay, where he's at mentally. And with this, I would say, yeah, they kind of just did like one therapy session of who he is and kind of why he ticks. And so it just felt a little rushed, but at the same time, I thought his look was really cool. His costume, like what he was doing was super dark, super creepy. Like I thought they nailed that aspect of it. So I just thought it was cool.
Jacob, nice cat. Yeah, I'm enjoying the show.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's just, it is a little bit, it's just not as detailed as like the older show. You know what I mean? Which is fine. They don't have as much episodes.
Yeah, and dude, the older
and-
show is like an hour each episode.
Yeah.
Easy. And
Yeah.
these are like 42 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm honestly really enjoying it. I think they're doing pretty good for what they were handed. So
yeah, and then the cops take the you know the credit for the murder of Muse, basically. And you know, that was funny where he's like holds up the mask on television. It felt like it felt like something that would actually happen. I don't know why, but I just felt
No, for real. The
interesting.
cops being like, you know, because they stand there and they take pictures with like bricks of coke and things like that in real life.
Yeah.
You know, they love doing that. So
Yeah.
just like
I also
pounds of weed. They're just like,
Kingpin in that scene is so funny. He's just like sitting there. He has the most awkward smile ever in front of the camera. Like he hates it.
Yeah. And then how did this episode end? I can't remember. That was kind of the ending, right?
The girlfriend was like, "Hey, Daredevil said my
Yeah.
name," and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
he was not very smart on that one.
Crazy.
oh yeah, she's about to find out. I guarantee.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. I didn't realize this, but if you watch the old Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, he's on the phone at the beginning of the movie, and he gets broken up with by this same character from the comics, this girl.
That's
So I didn't even
funny.
realize that
Yeah, I
she's
agree.
like from the comics, you know. She's like, "You're so distant,
Okay.
like we need to just be done," you know. That's like the very beginning of the movie. So, very interesting.
I think I have a little bit more respect for it than I was. You know, the running joke is always like Matt's got so much game and it's stupid, you know. Even God, he was talking to that Latvian chick and he had game. That was too much. Anyway, but I just kind of felt kind of put off by that, especially with the whole Karen thing. I have my own opinions on that from the
Sarah
original
doesn't like
season
Karen.
anyway.
It's okay. You can say you don't like Karen. This is a safe space.
Oh dang.
I don't not like Karen, but she got to be a bit
Well,
much.
she's not in
Anyway,
it, so you get your wish.
I think yeah, that's fair. But Foggy's dead, so that's obviously
Whoa,
sad.
spoilers.
I don't know. But
Whoa.
I think it's Dr. Glenn. I think that just makes it a lot better for me knowing that, like, oh, she's based in the comics. They didn't just grab somebody and we're desperate for a love interest for Matt, you know? So
Sweet. So, Daredevil, I'm excited. How many more episodes we got? 2 more? Is it 9 episodes?
Yeah, 2 more.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's go. That's exciting, guys.
And then we'll jump
All right.
head first into Andor. So
Yes.
it's like the
gonna
week
be hype.
after.
That's going to be fun to break down, guys, together. Let's jump into CinemaCon. We got a lot to break down. With this, we're not gonna like narrow in on everything. I'm just gonna list stuff off, give your thoughts, be really quick about it. You know, there's some things we are gonna talk about, like which
Yeah,
we'll get
there's
to
some
a little
we're
bit.
gonna have to talk more on,
But first one, let's jump into Sony. So this was like a 4-day event. I think Disney is happening right now. I kind of have what Disney's saying, but on March 31st, we had Sony. And so that Karate Kid Legends trailer came out. How do you guys feel about this? Anybody watch the movies / Cobra Kai? Any of
Karate
you
Kid,
guys?
No Way Home.
No way. The
Yeah,
mashing of worlds.
I've seen almost all of it. Cobra Kai, I'm like 2 seasons behind, but yeah, this is funny bringing in Mr. Han from the Karate Kid
Yeah.
with Jaden Smith, with Daniel
Jackie
LaRusso.
Chan
So,
and Ralph Macchio.
yeah, it's kind of funny. It's just
The
another
trailer
money grab.
kind of was like it's kung fu meets karate. Like this kid knows kung fu, but they want him to become a karate like legend, I guess. So he's gonna learn Miyagi karate. So pretty cool. I like it. I think the trailers look good. The mom is Ming-Na Wen. No, Ming-Na Wen, is that her name? She plays
Ming-Na
Mulan
Wen.
and she's in Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her name. Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
So I
yeah, Fennec Shand and
Fennec Shand, yeah.
the agent from
May,
Agent
I
May
think.
from
Agent May.
Yep.
I like it. The next one, so we've got 28 Days Later, which is coming out later this year, which they talked about at CinemaCon. But also they confirmed a sequel that is already filmed, 28 Days Later, The Bone Temple, starring Ralph Fiennes, directed by Nia DaCosta, and also a possible third film as well. So they're doing a full trilogy, directed by Danny Boyle. Have you guys seen 28 Days Later? Any of you guys?
Mhm.
Oh,
I have.
Colin, you have?
No.
Yep.
Oh, so
I haven't
good.
seen it in
Speak to us,
years,
Colin.
but it was good. I'm trying to remember.
I've seen 28 Weeks Later too. That's not as good.
I haven't
28
seen
days.
that one.
28 days. Oh wait, sorry. 28 Years Later is the sequel. Sorry,
Mhm.
but yeah, awesome. I'm excited for this stuff. The trailer looks really creepy. Wade, I think you would like it. Wade, super zombies. You know, you would like
Maybe.
it. It's basically Walking Dead, but in London. Like Robert Kirkman definitely ripped it off. I feel like, or
Every
the,
day in
or
London.
the yeah. So
every day.
yeah. So that is exciting. We've got Beyond the Spider-Verse, Wade. So let's look at the pictures that they gave us. Pretty awesome. We're going to get Miles versus Prowler Miles. Pretty cool.
It's
Well,
funny
it's
that they only gave us
yeah.
pictures because they haven't started animating it yet, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they have
And-
so far.
And these are very safe pictures.
Here's
Like,
the-
this doesn't tell you.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
what did they
safe.
say? Like 2028 is what they announced.
This is what's so bad. They
Oh.
originally said 2024 this movie was supposed to come out. Now it's delayed to 2027.
Okay, 7.
Jeez, like I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I'm excited for it. I think maybe they should take their time with it, you know? Don't ruin
Yeah,
it.
apparently the animators on the second one were overworked. And the
Yeah.
studio had a great idea of they were like finish this movie and then go right into the next one. And all the animators finished and you know, they did a great job. They just, you know, spent their entire life doing it for 3 years. And then they were like, no, we're not going right into this movie. It's not happening right now. And the studio is just kind of like, but our release date.
Yeah.
All the
And they-
fans were like, "But
yeah.
the release date."
And yeah, it seems like the animators union won over and they got their time to make this one. So I'm happy
They
with it.
they wanted like an Infinity War Endgame type situation where the movies came out back to back year like 18 to 19, you know, but it didn't happen. So, but
That's just not possible. And it's great. It's great that they decided to actually fight for it and push it, because can you imagine if they had been just increasingly overworked and rushed and then we ended up with something that was lackluster compared to the first two? That would be like devastating and it would kind of ruin it.
we've already seen
So,
that with the animation and recent stuff, really, you know. Terrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is exciting, but also sad at the same time. We have to wait so long. But
Why did they give a couple images and then just like a black image?
No,
I don't know.
that's probably just. I think they only gave 5 images.
They only
and
gave
that's
five
just,
images.
someone
I was like,
conglomerated them into
I
I was like, am I
pu-
missing something? Like,
No, I tried to get them all in one screen. Sorry.
Yeah, that's called Midnight Spider-Man. He's just,
okay, yeah.
you just
Just
can't see him.
black
in the black.
screen.
He's there though.
This one is crazy. This next one, Spider-Man Brand New Day, is confirmed for July 31st, 2026, post Doomsday. So this is kind of like our Ant-Man and the Wasp situation, where the movie, I think, is retroactively during Doomsday, because Spider-Man is not in the cast list for Doomsday, which we broke down last week. How are you guys feeling about this Spider-Man?
It's interesting
Crazy.
that his movie was after Endgame last time, so after the end of the 2 Avengers movies, and now it's in
Yeah.
the middle. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I bet you hit the nail on the head, Cam, where it's like Ant-Man and the Wasp, where like it's its own story and then spins them into the next Avengers movie.
Yeah,
That would
Because
be
you're right,
sweet.
Ant-Man and the Wasp like happens, and then at the end, everything happens that's going to get Ant-Man involved in
Yeah,
Endgame.
yeah. So that means they know what's going to happen in Doomsday. Obviously, they're filming it right now, this month. So they know what's going to happen, which is crazy. So Spider-Man will be filming this summer. Daniel Destin Cretton is directing it. He's the director of Shang-Chi. I actually really liked Shang-Chi. I liked the action in that movie a lot. I think hopefully we get some really cool Spider-Man fights, you know? I don't know who the villain is. Maybe it's like Mr. Negative. I don't know. Because I have no clue who... Maybe it's Venom. I don't know, because the symbiote is in the MCU right now, so who knows?
They need to bring back Scorpion, because they had Michael Mando from Better Call Saul
Yes.
play
Yes.
Scorpion in Homecoming, and then show up in the end credit scene and be like, I want to get Spider-Man. And Vulture was like, no, I'm not going to tell you who he is. But it's like, he's right there. You know what I mean? He's not busy on Better Call Saul anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Bring
think
it
that's
back.
a fantastic idea, because I honestly, for this, especially with how they ended the third one, like, yeah, do like a street level Spider-Man fighting like Chameleon, Scorpion, all like the kind of lesser known Spider-Man villains that they haven't really done yet.
Mhm.
Have them like team up or something and just all go after him in some way, and then third act, just kind of spin it into Doomsday or whatever.
I would
however
love
you
like
do
a
it.
grounded level. I know they're not going to do it, though. Sony's too greedy with the multiverse for some reason.
You know
I don't
what? We could have already had a ground level movie, and this could be the big lead in that they want. But they were too busy arguing behind the scenes, and now we're stuck with only one Spider-Man movie before the next Avengers instead of two.
Yeah, yeah. I would have loved like a him and Daredevil take on Kingpin. Kingpin hires the Sinister Six type movie. That would be sick,
Dang.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. All right, guys. Any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I can't wait for the Spider-Man Day trilogy. Brand New Day, Glorious Day.
Yep.
You had a bad day.
You had a bad day.
That's funny.
Christmas Day. Spider-Man Christmas Day. Oh, man. That is funny. There is a few more for Sony. Caught stealing Darren Aronofsky's next film with Austin Butler, Matt Smith, and both Kingpins. Vincent D'Onofrio and what's the other guy's name? The guy from Spider-Verse.
Schreiber?
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, Liev Schreiber. Both of them are in this movie. Did you guys watch the trailer for this at all? No. Yeah, nope. It looks like some sort of like 90s robbery movie of some sort. So interesting. This next one, Wade, the Beatles cinematic universe is coming.
No, I mean this makes
Here we
perfect
go.
sense to do a Beatles biopic. I mean they're one of the most iconic bands
But
of all time.
Wade, here's the catch though that they've
Okay.
confirmed.
Okay.
4 movies.
Oh, are you serious?
Yep, 1 movie for John Lennon, 1 movie for Paul McCartney, 1 movie
What?
for Ringo Starr, 1 movie for George Harrison, all set in the same universe and all releasing the same day.
What the heck?
All 4 movies.
That's crazy.
This is insane. I
Or
don't
no,
know what
Cam,
they're
I think it's
thinking.
supposed to be every weekend for a month. So like
That's it.
you see
Sorry,
John,
yes.
and then the next week you see
Yes.
Paul, then you see George, then you see Ringo.
What the-
I hope they don't do it in that order. It should probably be like
I think
don't
it's
know,
kind of not
George,
smart,
Paul, Ringo,
honestly.
John.
It's a little greedy.
But I don't
I'll
think
say.
people will only go see the one they like. You know what I mean? That's kind of
It sounds like a streaming thing, you know. It doesn't sound like
Yeah.
a movie theater thing, unless you buy a ticket and it's good for the whole month. I could
Yeah.
get behind it with that. But I don't know, shelling out $15 a ticket 4
Yeah.
weeks in a row to see the Beatles, the whole
Yeah.
picture, is going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. That's so weird.
I think the casting is a little messed up. You see, second in from the left is Paul Mescal, and
As
he
Paul
looks
McCartney.
like John Lennon. He's playing Paul McCartney. It's
Yeah.
so weird.
That's so
He
funny.
looks like John Lennon
Yep.
100%.
Barry
Um,
Keoghan as Ringo Starr, Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, and Harris Dickinson as John Lennon. So
Huh.
crazy. The first bingeable movie series is what they're saying, is what they're calling it.
Well, Jacob, we'll just wait till all 4 are out and we'll just have a Saturday, you know?
It would be fun.
A
They're
Beatles Saturday.
all 4 are being written and directed by the guy who made Skyfall in 1917. So
Oh,
Tim
the
Mendes?
dude's quality. Like, he makes
Yeah.
good movies. So I'm really optimistic. I hope that the release strategy doesn't kill it, because if it was just saying the guy who made Skyfall in 1917 is making a Beatles biopic, it'd be like, here we go. This is it. But instead, the Beatles are just next level. They deserve that next thing. So of course they get an experimental series. I'm pretty excited. But I can't say I'm going to go see it 4 weeks in a row if it's really going to cost $60 a person.
Yeah.
crazy.
I think they deserve it for sure. I actually really liked A Complete Unknown. Just watched that the other day. Loved that movie. It's awesome. So I do like biopics sometimes. If they can pull it off, that would be cool. I'd like to see all their backstories. And it'd be cool if you have different scenes from different perspectives.
I think
each
that's supposed to be
movie.
kind of the idea, is there's going to be crossover in the movie of, like, because each one is going to be about each person, right? But
Yeah.
obviously their lives were intertwined for so long that you're going to see different things from different perspectives.
Crazy. Yeah. Sweet. Any final thoughts, guys? On Sony. That's Sony. So that was March 31st. Let's jump into April 1st. Paramount. We've got John Wick, the Ballerina update. That movie's coming out very soon. We've already
Yep.
talked at
Check
length
out our
about
video
it.
on that.
Yep. We've got a John Wick animated series confirmed. That's kind of crazy.
What?
No
Yep.
way.
My Saturday morning cartoons just got crazy.
Yeah. Kane's spin-off film is confirmed. It's happening.
Really?
Kane. Yep. From
We
John
talked
Wick
about that.
4,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Also, this might be controversial. John Wick 5 confirmed with Keanu Reeves and Chad Stilisky returning.
What?
Yeah.
I
Really?
know.
So
Jacob,
It's
I
in
can't-
development. I
Sure,
don't-
you're not super thrilled.
Chad
Yeah.
It was such
Stileski
an ending.
returning. Chad Stileski returning is me being okay. Let's see what they have. Because
but also he's got like 10 movies on his plate. Have you looked at his upcoming movies?
I have.
He's got the new what's it called with Henry Cavill, the new Highlander movie. He possibly is directing Blade. Apparently, that's a rumor too for the MCU. I don't
That'd be
know.
sick.
Well, that would
Yeah,
be
I
crazy.
don't-
That would be the best MCU movie if they did that.
John Wick 4 is a really, really actually beautiful ending to his story. But if Keanu Reeves and Chad Stilisky are thinking they have something else they want to say about the character, I'm open to it. If they had said Keanu Reeves is returning, but it's a different writer and director, I think I would have been like, oh,
Yeah.
great. But the fact that it's him is, I'm like, okay, they have something. Yeah, something cool I thought about the Kane spinoff is that it's going to be like a Hong Kong produced movie. Like, it's going to be like a partially Chinese produced movie. So, and
That's
it's going
cool.
to be filmed in Hong Kong and take place there. So that'll be cool because his character is obviously from there. To
Yeah,
kind of
that'd
take
be
the story
awesome.
back there.
I love Donnie Yen. He's awesome.
Yeah,
in
it's
anything.
pretty cool.
He's-
That-
It'll
yeah,
be like martial arts John Wick.
I love it
Mhm.
with a cane.
I'm a big fan of that. That's the perfect character to be introduced for a spinoff to then get a spinoff. It seems like they're doing it the right way. So
Yeah. Nobody 2 with our boy
Let's go.
Saul Goodman, of course. How do you guys feel about this coming out?
dude,
The
I
movie-
can't
the
wait. Have you
first-
guys seen that movie?
It's
Yes.
so good.
It's awesome. It's so good. And it almost like kind of takes place in like the John Wick world. It's like written by the same guys.
Yeah.
And they have the same kind of like idea of like secret like assassins and things like that. It's really cool. You don't think of Bob Odenkirk as an action star. But I mean, he credits, because Bob Odenkirk had a heart attack while filming the last season of Better Call Saul. and he credits what his training for the first Nobody movie with saving his life, with how in shape he became for it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
He looked awesome in it. I mean, he lost a lot of weight. I really like it.
I could tell in season 6 of Better Call Saul he was kind of ripped. It was like, okay.
Yep. So that is coming. I love the first one. Didn't make a lot of money because of the pandemic, but hopefully they have some more hope with this one. You know, because we're not living in a pandemic anymore, so maybe people will go see it. I guess we'll see. Also, lastly, for Paramount, we have a Michael Jackson biopic called Just Michael, starring the nephew of Michael Jackson himself. So that is coming. Tricky. We'll see.
Yeah, I wonder what that story's going to be like.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if they got permission from Michael Jackson's estate to do that, then I don't know. Because
People
I know
love Michael Jackson, though.
Yeah,
That's the
and
thing.
I don't know. I heard something about when it comes to stuff with Michael Jackson, his family's very particular about, like, when it comes to, like, how he's portrayed in media.
Yeah.
Like, what, because there was a lot of controversy that came out about him, but
Yeah.
so I wonder what exactly that'll cover, if it's just like his early years or I don't know. So that'll
Maybe
be
like the
interesting to see.
Jackson 5, his brothers, but I don't know. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
focus more so on him when he's like super famous. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other final thoughts on Paramount? That was April 1st, which we also
Solid
have
lineup.
Warner Brothers, which has a lot coming out. Basically, CinemaCon, they just cover what's coming out this year. So, and it's like, hey, new stuff, new trailers, new teasers. It's basically for movie theater owners to come. Big chain owners can come and see what's going to come later this year, basically. And also, like, you know, media and all this stuff. So it's cool that I went and watched a guy who broke down everything. So I took notes, and that's what we're doing tonight, basically. So Warner Brothers, the Minecraft movie. Colin, you saw it?
I saw
You liked it?
I liked it, but
Yeah?
it's just because I have I would say a particular sense of humor.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's directed by Jared Hess, and I love all of his movies.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
all the humor was just like, it caught on with me. It was definitely weird, but I don't think the trailers did it enough justice, because if you're going into it thinking, okay, yeah, like this is going to be a goofy movie, then you're going to enjoy it. But
Wade, should we go see it?
I was laughing.
Maybe
Like, I
next
laughed a
week.
lot.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week, Wade. We'll go see
All
it.
right.
We also have one battle. I wanted to hear Jacob's take on this. One battle after another, Paul Thomas Anderson movie, but I
You
don't
can come
know.
back to it.
Yeah.
He's MIA.
It's probably the cats again.
We
Those
also have
mischievous cats.
The Bride, starring Christian Bale's take on Frankenstein, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, which they worked together in The Dark Knight, obviously. So
Huh.
interesting. They had a trailer, I guess, but I haven't seen the trailer. Didn't get released to the public. But let's get into this. Superman. We got crazy stuff at the Superman panel, basically, during Warner Brothers. This is obviously the main cast and James Gunn. Looking great here. I'm so excited for this movie. They gave a 5-minute clip of the movie with kind of a trailer at the end, and that just got released like literally a few hours before the pod, and I was like, dang, we can actually cover it. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Let's get into it.
Before Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They showed it before Minecraft, right?
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
we got the Fortress of Solitude, looking awesome. It comes out of the ground. I think it's hilarious. Crypto is like beating up Superman, you know, like being super playful puppy, you know. And he's like, no, stop. And then he drags him to the fortress. The door opens. The fortress looks awesome, by the way. How'd you guys feel about the Fortress of Solitude looking?
It looks sick.
Very cool.
It turns.
It's
it
stunning.
spins.
Yeah,
sure.
it looks so clean. The animation is insane in this.
This whole movie is going to be so visually appealing. That's one of the huge reasons I'm so excited for it, because for like years we had really dark superhero movies, and this is finally going to be going to bright, colorful, stylized.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
We got Superman's robots. Alan Tudyk is playing one of the robots.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
Right?
so
You
good.
get a
I
robot
love.
guy, you get Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, I love their responses. It's like, oh, it's like you were supposed to be watching the dog, and it's like, well, we don't really care. Basically, like we don't have human responses. or human emotions, basically, right? I don't even remember what they said, but it was pretty funny. And then they charge him up with some solar, like magnifying glasses to like charge him up, basically,
That
and
was
heal
cool.
him.
That was
Dang,
pretty cool.
it feels very comic booky, honestly. It feels like Superman All-Star to me. Jake, how'd you feel about this 5 minute? Did you get to watch it, Jake? Oh, he's still paused. Okay. Anybody else? Colin, how'd you feel about it?
I really enjoyed it. I really like Sarah said, how colorful it is. It feels like a comic book, like you're reading a Superman comic, and it's got kind of the goofy humor that we know from James Gunn, but also that you'd kind of see in a comic book, because I don't know, there are times where it's just like, okay, it isn't like taking itself too seriously, because it doesn't really need to. But yeah, I think it looks really cool.
I'm hyped. All right, Wade, how'd you feel about it, Wade?
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. It really does remind me of a James Gunn movie. You know, like
It
just
feels
very
like Guardians 3 type.
like they were saying, colorful, but like kind of jokesy. But I hope it's not super duper jokesy like that. But
You kind of need
pretty
that
cool.
with this. I feel like Man of Steel didn't have a lot of joy to it.
No,
Which I
no,
like
for
Man of
sure.
Steel, but I think to get to that general movie audience to go see a Superman movie, there's so much negativity around Superman for some reason. To get them to come out, you gotta have to play into kind of society and humor a little bit, but also some really cool visuals and some awesome fight scenes, of course. And Superman
think
being Superman,
that's
a cool
what's gonna
shot.
hit with audience. What you're saying, Cam, is just having it be like, I think because a lot of people like Guardians, like I think a lot of like general audience, like my parents, like they've seen the Guardians movies and they like them. They're not
Yeah.
huge comic book people.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think having that like joy, the colorful kind of humor aspect, as long as the plot itself is still pretty good, I think it'll kind of hit on all cylinders there. But
Yeah, I think it's got to have that Top Gun Maverick energy that got crazy amount of people in seats. You know what I mean? Like, I think they can do it. I think James Gunn can do it. And apparently they're going to market it like Barbie is what they said. They're going to market it like crazy. So hopefully get the word out there, get kids to come see this, get moms and dads, everybody.
The best thing they did for this movie, and this was James Gunn, I think, was change the name from Superman Legacy to just Superman.
Yep.
That you want my parents to go see Superman Legacy. It sounds like it's a part of something else. They're remaking Superman. I'll go see it. That simple.
Awesome. Yeah.
Genius.
Cool.
Jake, how'd you feel about this little teaser? Did you get to watch it?
Yeah, I did. Awesome. I can't wait. I'm sold. This movie looks great.
It's my most anticipated movie of the year, honestly.
Yeah,
I think-
mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Superman. I've always loved Superman. I don't really have that negativity around him that most people do. So I'm pretty hyped, guys. Any final thoughts on Superman?
looks great.
I heard test screenings have been very good. There's apparently two versions of the movie, like a 2 hour and 30-minute version and an hour 55-minute version. So we'll see which they choose. I don't know. And also Lionsgate, Wade. So let's jump into this. We only got like one movie for this one. There's probably some other ones, but I just chose this one. Hunger Games. Do you have that picture, Wade? Sunrise on the Reaping. I think this is the Haymitch backstory, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Woody Harrelson's character,
starring
which
Woody
actually
Harrelson?
I really like Woody Harrelson, but I don't
I'm
think
sure
it's.
he'll be-
I think they're gonna recast him, probably, right?
I wonder if he'll do like the kind of like the flashback, like
Ooh, like an origin.
maybe narrates whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of want to see like how he won the games. You know what I mean? Because apparently he brutally murdered a bunch of people, right?
Yeah,
That's why he
that would be
screwed up.
interesting to see how he won. For sure.
That's why he's like an alcoholic. So we will see.
why
It
he's
might be a
messed up.
dark movie. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. Actually, just watched the whole quadrilogy last night. Finished it last night. So very interesting.
Yeah, and
Let's
the
jump
book just came
into-
out too.
Sorry.
The book for this just came out a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
so
I
they're
think.
already confirming the movie and the book. It must have been a book and movie deal, right? It's
I
got to
think
be like,
yeah, the popularity behind it too.
Yep.
Do you
Jake,
guys like
Sarah,
Hunger Games?
Do you
Sarah,
guys care about
look at
Hunger
that.
Games?
Yeah, I'm a big Hunger Games fan. I'm pretty excited for this. I was actually bummed I didn't see the last one. The the prequel
Ballad
about
of
President Snow
Songbirds
in,
and
in
Snakes.
theaters.
Yeah.
I saw it eventually, actually pretty recently, and I thought it was fantastic. I think as I joined back in, you guys were saying if it was like a book movie deal, and it was. Both of these prequels, one about President Snow and one about Haymitch. They were book and movie deals. She wrote the book, and Lionsgate had already bought the movie rights before
nice.
she wrote it. And yeah, so it's pretty cool that they let her do that.
Yeah, we were kind of saying basically this is going to be why Haymitch is so screwed up. Like,
Yeah, the little bit in the books that they talk about the second quarter quell which Haymitch was in, the 50th Hunger Games that he was in. It was a pretty that was a special Hunger Games where there were 48 contestants, so that's double the amount of people that have to die in his games.
oh my gosh.
And this I think he only tells one story in the books of his games, and it's pretty it's pretty interesting what he went through. So learning the whole story of his life is going to be really cool.
Yeah,
He's
they
a
got to
great
cast
character.
a guy who can like kind of do a Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, it's
But
going to be
maybe they'll
tricky.
be like,
He's an odd
That's
guy.
gonna be tricky. Yeah.
He is an odd guy. I
Sarah,
wish.
do you care about the Hunger Games at all?
I was never introduced to it when it was coming out, and so Jacob has actually been introducing me to it.
Nice,
So
nice.
I'm about in the middle, and I honestly watched the movies and they were quite good. So like I totally get why everybody loves them. The most recent one that came out, Songbirds and Snakes, that one was pretty crazy. I do think that was kind of nuts. So I am actually excited for this, having jumped onto the bandwagon quite late. Yeah, it's exciting.
Nice. Jake, you were saying something? Sorry.
I forget. It was probably just about the movie, but
Dude, all good. All right, let's jump into Universal. Universal was yesterday. They showed the entire How to Train Your Dragon movie to the audience. So I guess we don't really. There is a new trailer, I think, as well. And it's getting good reviews. Do you guys care about this this like live action remake?
They showed the whole movie.
The whole movie, yeah. They
That's
sometimes
ballsy.
do that.
That means they know. And
That's
and,
confidence.
Cam, I hope I'm not stepping on your toes here, but they also announced that they're making a live action How to Train Your Dragon 2. They
Oh,
get
yeah,
a
yeah.
release date and everything.
Yep.
So
yep.
they've seen the movie behind the scenes and they're like, guys, we did it. This is a good movie. They were confident enough to show it to people this weekend.
Yep.
And they were confident enough to go ahead and start the second one. So it sounds like it's going to be awesome. So I'm pretty on board with it.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with this one personally. I've got kind of a thing with remakes where I tend to be pretty tentative toward them. The history of live action remakes so far from Disney has kind of put a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Especially when we see movies that I was like super excited for, like the remake of The Lion King. I felt like it was going to be perfect. Watching it, I recognized that a lot of it was attempting to be shot for shot without a lot of the flexibility that animation gives you because they were using live action CG instead. So that kind of started to sour me towards it. I personally feel like it's still too soon to attempt something like this for such a perfect movie like How to Train Your Dragon was. But I think everybody else's enthusiasm is slowly getting me on board. So I'm totally willing to give it a try. I just really don't want to watch it and have it just be the movie, but in a different skin, you know? So I'm a little bit more hesitant toward it.
Yeah. Colin, Dave, I guess feel.
I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
I think it's like I'm like yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard it's kind of, and even the trailer was kind of shot for shot, and I wonder if they just did that just to show.
Yeah.
Kind of okay. This is what we're doing. And maybe there's going to be some differences. I don't really know, but yeah, it's hard to take like a beloved animated movie, put it in live action, and have it be of the same quality.
Yeah.
But if they're already showing it, maybe it is really good, and maybe it's just going to broaden the audience. So I don't know.
Sweet. Let's jump into the next one. Jurassic World Rebirth. This is, we've talked a lot about this, obviously. Wait,
Real
did you want to
quick,
read
Cam.
that comment?
Real quick,
Yeah.
Cam. I'm very excited for this movie. I'm just not sure how they're going to make it without it feeling either like a shot-for-shot remake or changing a crucial plot point for shock value.
Amen. Yeah.
Yep, we will see. Hopefully they can pull it off. I would love for it to be good, but
Yeah.
be cool. But Jurassic World Rebirth, we're gonna do a whole breakdown of all the Jurassic parks and worlds, right, Wade?
Yep.
And then
Yep,
we're gonna
that's the
watch
plan.
this, and that's gonna be crazy, Jake. So, Jake, are you ready to do that with us this
Yeah,
summer?
I can't
okay,
wait.
let's
I
do it.
cannot wait.
Loves Jurassic Park.
Let's
Dino
jump into the
movie.
next one. Masters of the Universe footage was shown. There is kind of controversy over this because they're kind of changing He-Man a little bit.
I was
Well, they're
gonna
just
say,
doing
isn't that
it.
He-Man? That's awesome.
Yeah,
Just do He-Man. It's so overdone though at this point.
Really?
Apparently, they're putting
I think-
He-Man in the real world though, like on Earth.
Oh, that's
And
weird.
so people are really mad about that because he's
That
usually
sounds
just
like
the
early
prince.
2000s comedy
Dozens
stuff
of
right there.
people
That
are
sounds
mad.
perfect.
The people who care about this thing are mad. I don't care, obviously, but
There are
they showed it.
dozens of them.
Apparently, it looks really good. The Accountant 2, we've already talked. We're going to cover that
We
on
will
the channel.
cover that as well.
Jake, you got to watch The Accountant.
I know, I'm on it.
You know,
I
not
told my
movie night,
dad
Jacob.
this weekend.
What?
I was like to my dad. My dad was like, "Accountant 2, are you ready?" And I was like, "Dad, I've never seen The Accountant." And he was like, "Huh?" He thinks I'm the only one in the world. Whatever.
Yeah.
Did you
movie
guys
night,
watch the
Jacob.
new trailer, too? There was another new trailer kind of playing up the Brotherhood.
I
So
didn't see that
I'm
one.
excited about that aspect. John Bernthal, Ben Affleck. I'm excited. Also, Wicked for Good. You guys, you Wicked heads. How you feel
Yes.
about that? Is that coming later this year, Jake?
Yeah, it's gonna be this
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Okay, we did
Oh,
have
yeah,
some pictures.
November.
I should have been popping up here.
No, you're good. Yeah. So, How to
I
Train Your
feel like-
Dragon, Wicked. I don't know
I
what
feel
that
like the
last
trailer's
one.
imminent.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Those are
excited because
all-
I can't wait to hear the recordings of the songs from Act
Yeah.
2. So
Before we get into Disney, Wade, show those other. There's a few other
Yeah.
pictures too. We got Sinners coming out this month. Are you guys? I'm really actually kind of want to see Sinners.
I haven't
Vampire
s-
Ryan Coogler movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer for it, and I don't think I'm going to because I've heard the trailer kind of spoils it a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. But I am excited for it. Michael B.
It
Jordan
looks cool.
Ryan
Skill
Coogler,
House.
yeah.
That looks like a horror movie. Black Phone 2, another horror movie. Wade, any other ones that I got in there? Superman, Jurassic World,
Yeah,
Fantastic
this is
Four.
one we've already talked about.
The
but
Accountant 2,
some
Karate
cool
Kid.
some cool posters.
Cool posters for sure. Yeah.
Yep, and then there's of course this one.
Oh, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning.
The man's gonna die for real this time.
Do you think he's gonna die? Seriously?
No, Tom Cruise.
Sarah, I know you
No.
were on last time, but we determined Scientologists do not die. So
Oh, dude, I've
And
been
Tom
talking
Cruise
about
doesn't
his
die on
Scientology
screen,
thing for
apparently.
a long time. Yeah.
yeah,
He's not allowed to die in his movies.
I think he's gonna do a final stunt just to show how cool he is, and his aim is to die making a movie. That's my headcanon.
oh, it would be so good.
Dang, that would be crazy.
wow.
I'm starting a Mission Impossible rewatch and prep for this. I'm pretty excited.
Oh,
I just
Nice.
watched the first one again for the first time in years. It's crazy how far. I mean, that movie is 30 years old now,
Oh my gosh.
and it's just crazy. You know, they have cassette tapes and all this stuff, and where they are in the movies now with the villain being an AI is just crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I just watched through them last year, Jake, for the first time, and I loved them. Actually,
It's so much fun.
Loved them. So good.
The curve of like the quality is just so enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
They just keep on getting better. Yeah.
3 is really underrated. I feel like
3's a
3 was
cool one,
really.
yeah.
Yep. All right, Dave. Disney was today. We don't have. If there's anything new out there, guys, I don't know about it. I only saw Tales of the Underworld teaser. Right, Dave?
Yep.
We're getting Ventress and Cad Bane this time. It looks like they're
Yes.
doing this every year. A different Tales of. We got Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Inquisitors.
Empire.
What was it? Empire? Tales of the Empire. Now we're getting Tales of the Underworld. How'd you guys feel about this? Did you get to watch it?
Yeah, it's cool. I really like this format. To have 3 short films about 2 characters every year. It gets to expand on a couple little things in a pretty quick way.
Yeah.
Diving into Ventress is, they had so many cool plans for Ventress in the full final seasons of Clone Wars that they never got to do. They got to adapt a good part of her story into a book. But I mean, they had awesome plans for her in what would have been the full 6th and 7th seasons, which were just abridged.
Yeah.
That they finally made, which was great that they finally did it. I think now you see how they're putting out Star Wars animation now. During COVID, when they announced that they were finishing the Clone Wars, I think they were still a little worried about it. That's why they only did 3 story arcs to just wrap it up. Now the reception is so high that I think they would have done the full final season that was planned and covered a lot of this stuff. But
Yeah.
I see that
Gotcha.
as a way to kind of this as a kind of way to fix that, at least for Ventress's character, and share those really cool kind of like later in her life plot elements. They already did a bit of it in the Bad Batch, and
Jake, you
seems like
think they're gonna do the book or no?
no, it doesn't look like that. The story,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
but and yeah, and a Cad Bane origin story is awesome.
Yeah, it looks like him and his best friend facing off for some reason.
That's cool. Cad Bane is a character that's cool and a fan favorite for a reason,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have much lore around him. You know, he's pretty simple, pretty one note. It's going to be cool to give him a little depth.
Yeah. Wade, how'd you feel about it? You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. I loved Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Empire was okay to me. I liked the Thrawn stuff. I didn't as much like the Barriss storyline, actually. But these are two great characters, so I'm excited to see them.
Yeah. Animation looks good. I'm excited for it. I think Dave Filoni's behind this, doing this every May the 4th. We get some sort of tale. I want Tales of the Sith really bad. I don't know what they would do. That'd be so cool though. But
Palpy.
please.
Let's go.
And then I did catch that Disney released a Thunderbolts How It Was Made trailer, and it was like showing what's her name? Florence Pugh doing the stunt of jumping off the building. That looked pretty insane that they actually did the real stunt. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. We got, guys, 1 month until Thunderbolts, the next MCU movie. I'm pretty excited, actually.
I'm really glad the Marvel hype train is picking up a bit. It's been a couple years since it's been really exciting for a new release. So
Yeah, Cam, we got one more picture, I think.
Oh, yes. So this is they put up a 2026 slate, which is awesome. We've got Avengers Doomsday.
I love that this is just a photo someone took of the,
Yep.
the comic book.
Hoppers, which I don't know what that is. Spider-Man 4, which is now Brand New Day, we know. Moana 3, what the heck, already?
Oh,
Masters
my
of the
Lord.
Universe. Scream 7, I think that is.
yeah, that's 7.
We're getting a Street Fighter movie? What the heck, Wade?
Where's John? Where's John?
Haven't had one of those in a long time.
Oh, the Mario movie 2 is next year, guys.
Nice.
No way.
Let's go.
What's the next one? I can't read that
The
one.
Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Oh, the
Shrek
Odyssey.
5,
Shrek 5.
Hunger Games, Jumanji 2.
Three.
Is it 3.
Jumanji
Oh,
3.
brother.
G.
Mandalorian and
It's on the
Grogu. That's a good one. Mega Minions.
Dang.
Lord.
What's that?
Clayface.
My face.
What is that one?
I can't
That
read
kind
it.
of look like Puss in Boots.
Ice Age.
That
That
Ice
looks like an
Age
Ice
It
Wow.
does look
Oh,
like
Ice
Ice
Age?
6.
Oh,
Yeah,
The Hunt for
sick.
Gollum. What the heck?
Oh, wild.
Yeah,
Peter
Supergirl?
Jackson or no?
What, Wade?
Peter Jackson or no for Hunt
Yeah,
for Gollum?
it's directed by Andy Serkis.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Ooh, we like him.
Supergirl, Toy Story 5, and then Hail Mary, which is that
Project
Ryan
Hail
Reynolds.
Mary. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Fast X Part 2.
Oh no! You think it couldn't get any worse? Oh no!
Guys,
The
we're on
names of
this-
those Fast and Furious movies are always so stupid, and Fast X Part 2 might take the cake.
Let's go down the line. We'll start with Dave. What's your most anticipated for 2026, Wade?
It's either Avengers or Mandalorian and Grogu. I know I'm still Star Wars and Marvel, but
Oh, that's okay. Not Mario 2?
we'll see. I mean, yeah, I just rewatched the Mario movie. It's great. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Colin, most anticipated?
I would say probably Spider-Man.
Oh,
Nice.
Yes.
I'm a huge Spider-Man guy, so that
Yeah.
and I don't know, maybe the Odyssey. I'm a
Pretty
big
hyped
Chris
for
Nolan
Odyssey
guy.
too. Yeah.
It's got a stacked cast, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Doomsday for me. Sarah?
I honestly, the Odyssey is something I'm excited for, but I think I'm most excited for Jumanji on this list, just
Oh,
because
wow.
I've loved what they did with the recent Jumanji movies. I don't know where you guys stand on them, but just the way that they've built the characters, it's always really funny to me, and I still enjoy the second one too. So I'm just like excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, those are fun for sure.
Mhm.
It's a classic rock
I hate
comedy.
that they're calling it Jumanji 3 when it's Jumanji 4, but whatever.
No, but it's so funny. The
they-
three
it's
of it is
Obviously,
great.
Jumanji 4. It is the 4th Jumanji movie. Whatever.
It's okay. It's
I'm
okay.
sure they're going to give it a name and they're not going to give it a number.
Yeah.
All right.
Jake, what are you looking forward to, Jake, for 2026? Which one?
It's the Odyssey, just because of
Ah,
the visceral physical reaction I had when I read the headline that said Christopher Nolan's next movie is The Odyssey. I mean, I felt like out of my body for a minute, just in terms of like dreams of like seeing something like that and anticipation for whatever Nolan's next movie is.
yeah.
I love Avengers, Spider-Man, Star Wars. I'm going to be there for all of them. I love it. I can't wait. But the Odyssey just unlocked something in me that was like, I read the headline and I was like, that's one of the best movies ever. You know what I
Nice.
mean? I just
Yeah.
can't wait.
Guys, CinemaCon, we broke it down. I don't know what else Disney has released, but we'll talk about it next week if it's super important. But Dave, I'm going to hand it over to you. We're going to talk about the Switch for the next 20 minutes, right, Wade? We got 20 minutes to do this. We
Dang,
good?
Cam, how dare you? You had way too much to talk about.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, okay. Yeah, we have some comments before we even talk about the Switch. We got a hater.
Whoa!
So-
Samuel.
Let me
one
see
of
that
our
name.
own.
Sam Spencer. Hater.
He says where is Super Sluggers reboot? And he
Okay, he's got a point there,
always
but-
wants to play Super Sluggers with me, so that's funny. He really wants a Mario Super Sluggers reboot.
That's actually not a bad idea.
It's a great idea. And then this is a controversial take. We'll see about this.
Free roam
No one
Mario
cares
Kart?
about free roam Mario Kart. Okay,
Open
well,
world? Open
Isn't
world Mario
Isn't
Kart?
that just battle?
Oh, it's like Fortnite.
So guys, the Switch 2 was announced this week. I'll just run through some quick specs. It's got handheld, TV, and tabletop mode, just like the first Switch. The Joy-Cons are now magnetic instead of slide-on, so they actually click in there and stick better.
They stick to your pacemaker.
It's got a bigger screen, 7.9 inches, but the same thickness as the original Switch. It's
Ooh.
got double the pixels, so it has 1080p screen, for higher quality. It has LCD and HDR support. It's got bigger SL and SR buttons, so when you're playing just a Joy-Con, those buttons on the top are bigger now. It actually has mouse controls, so on top of motion.
Good light.
Clearer audio speakers, built-in mic with noise canceling technology, which is much needed for the Switch. 2 USB-C ports, one on top and one on bottom. 25 gigs of, 256 gigs of storage compared to 32 on the Switch.
Dang.
And then it's got 4K support and a fan ventilation, and it plays Nintendo Switch 2 and 1 games.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
We love
Ooh.
reverse compatibility.
Yeah, it's exciting. So, I'm a big Nintendo guy. I've always been a Nintendo guy.
Wait,
I'll
is
be
this
honest, the
is this a
original-
day one purchase?
Well, this is the thing. The original release for this, where they did like a small trailer, I was like very underwhelmed because I was like, great, it's just another Switch. But I don't know. We'll see. It's got a lot of potential to be very good. It's just it does feel kind of the same as this original Switch, just with like an upgrade.
And Wade, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't think-
Definitely.
I think they nailed. Nintendo for so long has been gimmicky, not in a bad way, in a different way, in terms of we want our device to do this, we want our device to do that. And for years, they're in the handheld space and they're in the console space. And they're able to take all of their past gimmicks, pretty much, motion controls,
Yep.
Handhelds, things like that, put it all into one machine. It's their final form. I don't know how they do anything else. I mean,
Well, and that's the Switch
They'll
is making
figure it out.
so
They'll
much
figure out
money.
something.
The Switch is making so much money that they're like, we just got to do a better Switch and just keep capitalizing on that success.
and the Switch
So
is so
I
great.
totally
'Cause I was,
understand it.
my parents bought me and my brother a Wii and they bought us DSs. And I was able to explain to my parents, I was like, the Switch is a Wii and a DS. I can hold it in my hand and play the game, and then I can put it on the TV and play the game with motion. And my parents were like, what? It's
Yeah.
so perfect of what it was that I was not shocked when they announced that their next console was just Switch 2, and it does. It's like Peacemaker and Bloodsport. He does what I do, but better.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Okay, let's jump into one of the craziest features, game chat. So the Switch now has game chat abilities, and I think this is huge because every time we've ever played online, Jacob, you, me, and maybe like Log or something, we've always had to call.
We're
And
like
it's
calling
so
each other.
frustrating. So I'm so glad they finally added an in-game mic with game chat, so you can
That's
just
cool.
talk. You know.
It's pretty sick.
Dust
I do
game
think
is
the
gonna be
camera
wild.
attachment, which I'm sure you're going into, but
Yeah.
the
Here, we'll just jump right to it. It's good.
the
Good
camera
transition.
is interesting from the video that they showed. I understand the purpose. It's like kind of odd that it's a separate purchase. I don't know. I guess if you want it, then you get it. But just kind of looking at what it can do, Jacob had made a comment like, "Oh, streamers are gonna love this," but like streamers have a much better setup. To be
Yeah.
honest, like the quality of the camera is not ideal. It's only more fun if you're ready to watch your friends like scream when they're losing Mario Kart. You know?
Exactly, and that's what they kind of showed is like you can
Oh,
play
what?
together and like have your background be whatever game you're playing, and your picture is there, but you're seeing and playing and talking with each other. So it's kind of like everyone's on the couch together, but just in separate rooms.
So
I don't
you're
know if I
playing-
want to see that much if I'm playing online. I'm
Whoa,
focusing on the game.
That's crazy.
Well, this
It's
is
just
definitely
some
gonna be great
some
for
shirtless
streamers.
dude sitting like this.
I was gonna say, let's be real. The perspectives are going to be kind of weird sometimes.
That's funny. Yeah. Let's see. Hold on.
I mean, it's cool that they can do that, though. I mean, it's what everybody's thought. Like this is what it's gonna be like. You're gonna be playing, and people can see your face.
Be careful, Sarah. He bit me about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. So it's pretty fun. Let's jump into some of the stuff they're adding onto it. So one of the first things they did was a Nintendo GameCube. They're actually doing that for the Nintendo Classic series. They've of course got NES, SNES, and Nintendo 64. So I mean, to bring GameCube, I mean those are
Let's go.
a lot bigger
So
games.
excited.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
And GameCube is hot in the retro community right now.
Yeah,
So that's good. That was just a smart move on their part.
I love it.
Sarah, Jacob, did you guys ever play GameCube?
Oh yeah. I only ever played my cousin's GameCube. She would bring it
Okay.
every time she visited for the summer, and we exclusively played Harvest Moon and Monkey Ball. So that's
Nice.
fun. It wasn't very extensive of a history, but I for sure remember it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
my
actually
babysitter's son had a GameCube, and we
Okay.
spent a lot of time on it.
nice. Yeah, I actually got a GameCube for I think my 9th or 10th birthday. It was the first console I ever got for the TV, from like as a gift, and it came with Zelda Twilight Princess and Super Mario Baseball. So there you go,
Amazing.
Sam. If you're out there still,
Sam just went like,
I got one of my first GameCube games was Mario Baseball. So, all right, I kind of put these games in order of how I'm excited for them. So I apologize in advance for that. But we'll start with this one. So I think this is kind of the Wii Sports kind of thing. It's called Drag X Drive D&D, and it looks just basically like Rocket League with wheelchairs. But it's got like you use the motion controls like as a mouse or whatever to move your chair and play basketball.
whatever. I
So-
feel like Sam Spencer about this game. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll run through these real quick. They did some partner spotlights. If you guys have anything you like on here that you want to talk about, feel free to jump in. But the partner spotlight segments, they kind of highlighted some exciting third-party titles coming to the console. This part one showcased, I guess, Hades 2 is anticipated. I don't know anything about it, but they're bringing Madden NFL back.
I thought it was funny that they showed Elden Ring, and they were like, "We're gonna put Elden Ring on the Switch,"
Yeah.
but then it's like an abridged version, like so that the Switch can still handle it.
Yeah,
It's
embarrassing.
It's like we're getting all these upgrades, but it's still a little behind.
Here's my thought on that, because I was thinking about it and I was thinking like how kind of sad that is a little bit, because it's like, well, shoot, if you want to play Elden Ring, then you should probably play it, whatever. But for people who would love this to be an all-in-one, even like the mouse capability could
Mhm.
just straight up replace things that work better with PC and Steam. Ideally, if they get a lot of those similar kinds of games, that way somebody who does prefer the console to be all-in-one, like it totally can. Which is something I didn't think about because we live in a multi-console era. And of course, since this is the Switch 2, it's, it's like, oh, well, we're going to add another Switch, so here's another console for you. But I think actually, I guess that really works for people who just want to have a Switch 2, and then that way they can play all sorts of games, including something like Elden Ring that had been more exclusive and unattainable till now.
Yeah,
Cool.
let's jump into the next partner spotlight. Number 2 here. Part 2 focused more on adventure games like Borderlands 4, Cyberpunk 2077, both leveraging the Switch 2's upgraded hardware for impressive visuals and smoother gameplay. And additionally, they did release another WWE 2K. So, yeah, nothing here I super care about. I'm more of the Nintendo exclusives guy. So, anything on here you guys like?
Nothing I've tried yet.
Yeah, gotcha. And then they just did a quick sizzles reel. More stuff I don't really know. I think the one up there is Professor Layton, and all I know about that is the games are expensive on the 3DS. So,
Hollow Knight is a big deal. People love Hollow Knight.
yeah,
The one there in the middle, yeah.
yep.
That's Star Wars Outlaws in the bottom right.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
I still need to play that, but I'll do that on the PS5.
Yeah.
Sorry, Switch.
Sorry, Switch.
All right. So one of the big game features they released is that they are re-releasing Nintendo Switch games on the Nintendo Switch 2 as like upgraded expansion versions. So the newest Mario Party Jamboree just came out like last year for the Switch, but you can get an exclusive, extended version. So it's going to capitalize the use of the new mic camera and microphone. So now you can kind of see your friends' faces while playing from afar. So when you get mad and at them, you can have a face to go with your anger. Right, Jacob?
I get mad at Mario Party.
He got so mad, he almost ruined the vibe last time we played.
Dang.
He got all sad at losing. It was kind of
Come
sad.
on, Jake.
It's understandable.
Take the star from me.
Yeah.
50 coins. What?
So what's crazy is if you have the cartridge for the Switch, you can still use that, but you have to buy an expansion pack, unless you have Nintendo Switch Online. But still, that's crazy to me. It's just another money thing. You have to
Yeah,
spend
of
more
course.
for when you've already
They're gonna
bought the
get ya.
game.
They're gonna get you
Mhm.
with it.
Oh
The
yeah,
transition always gets you with the money.
yeah. So they also are going to do the same thing for Nintendo for both Zelda games released on the Switch. Honestly, I'm a huge Zelda fan. I mean, I'm wearing Breath of the Wild shirt right now, but honestly, the only thing they really added was higher resolution for these games, and then kind of a cool app to track your progress and give hints and share items with your friends. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's not really enough for me to be like, yay, get a Switch 2 ASAP,
Yeah.
So
Now, Wade,
yeah.
I was asking Jacob about this, and I think he and I don't know. I just wanted a solid answer based on what you think. So do you think that we'll still be able to use our existing save files if we buy that upgrade and we put it on the Switch 2 with that little transfer? Will we keep our save files and then be able to play our own save with
I'm
those
pretty sure they
upgrades?
said you can do that. Yeah, but you
Okay.
still will have to buy the expansion pack
Yeah,
or whatever with
sure.
the Switch 2, or else it won't work.
Okay.
So, yeah. Any Kirby fans out there? They also
Yes.
adding Kirby in the Forgotten Land. They're adding a new world, I think.
I like that. They're not just saying they're upgrading
Yeah,
the game
that's
like
what
the
I was-
quality, but they're like, here's like a DLC.
Right,
with
that's
it
what I was
too.
hoping would be more for Zelda, but no, there was just more like enhancements
Yeah.
versus new stuff. So this is kind of cool that the Kirby fans are going to get this.
That is cool.
All right, let's jump into some of the mainline games exclusive for Switch 2.
Ooh. Yo.
Guys,
Fuck
Yeah,
it, Sam
yeah.
Spencer. This is going to be the time of my life.
Mario Kart World, it is an open world Mario Kart. You are able to drive anywhere on the world, not let alone the track. And I'm not kidding. It looks like everyone is there. Like you can play as every Mario villain like that's ever existed. It feels like. And some of the
Oh my
stuff is crazy, like the
gosh.
grinding on the rails, and you can drive into big trucks and then control the big trucks. It's gonna be wild.
Crazy.
This is the game Mario Kart fans have been waiting for because they did the right thing with Mario Kart 8 on the Switch with the DLCs. They brought back as many tracks as they could. They made it, so that you could pretty much play anything from Mario Kart history that you want on the Switch. And then they're like, here's the Switch 2, brand new.
Yeah.
Completely keeps the formula, but opens it up to oh my god.
The idea of being
I'm a
able
big
to
Mario Kart guy.
the idea of being able to explore a world that Nintendo's going to pack with like Easter eggs and just fun areas and everything. And there is such an unbelievable sense of freedom when you get to play just an open world racing game. We used to have a game on the PS2. It was like ATV and freestyle something. I don't even remember what it was called. I still have it downstairs though. And you could just take off and like not win the race or whatever, but just go on these plains and hills forever. And that feeling is so special. Like there's something amazing about not having to worry about the pressures of the race, just exploring and like doing tricks and doing jumps and doing whatever the heck you want to do. Like to me, that is like pure gaming. And so the idea of being able to do that in a lovely Nintendo world is going to be so beautiful.
Sam,
That Forza
yeah,
Horizon
Sam
joke is
Spencer
pretty
said
good.
if I wanted to play an open world Mario Kart, I'd just play Forza Horizon games.
Yeah.
Dang.
Whatever.
No, this looks cool. This looks fun, and plus it takes full advantage of the, playing with your friends. I think they said 24 racers in the races, so that's pretty crazy. I don't know if that means 24 different players can play together, or if it's still just 4. I don't know.
I'm imagining online it's probably a solid 24, but I just don't see any feasible way of doing any more than that unless you've got different Switch systems in person.
I think the 24 is because they showed there's different modes, like there's Classic Grand Prix, and then there's a mode where you can drive from like one end of the world to the other, and every time like a section ends, if you're not in the top X amount,
That's
you get
true.
knocked out.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what the
that makes
24 is
sense.
for.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you start 24, then it's 12, 6, 3.
That's going to be crushing.
This looks so cool.
I
by
know,
the way,
especially
though.
because you're going to be out in the round of
Right,
24,
ugh.
Sarah.
It's not a Nintendo guy exclusively. This looks really cool though.
It looks
That
pretty.
there's-
It looks pretty sick. They're
Yeah,
bringing
they're
it all
doing
in,
this.
and it's very
Yeah.
colorful, and yeah. So
Cool.
they are doing a sequel to Kirby Air Ride, originally released on the GameCube.
Dang, what?
Yeah,
I
dude.
remember that game.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like Jacob and I's college group chat blew up on this. Guys who
About this
haven't touched
one,
a
yeah.
video game in forever were like, "Do I need to get a Switch too?" Because
Because of Kirby Air
Riders.
Riders.
Dang.
So this is cool. I was never really a fan of it. I did have it. I preferred Mario Kart always. It's just okay to me. But
do
yeah, I
remember
can
playing this
understand
with
the
you,
hype. What's that, Cam?
I remember playing this with you. Don't
Yeah,
you like choose your air rider, the thing
Yep.
you ride on, the like hovercraft thing, hoverboard type thing?
Yep.
Crazy.
So that's a pretty neat release. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. Now this is cool. So obviously the two Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. After Breath of the Wild came out, they released Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, which was 100 years before Breath of the Wild. Kind of as like it's not a full game. It's just kind of like a run around and slash and kill a bunch of monsters game.
Mhm.
But it's still cool for story. And this one is for Tears of the Kingdom. It's like, Zelda gets shoved to the past, and it follows her full story here. So this is purely for me. If Log was here, he was supposed to be on tonight. He would be freaking out with me because we're excited. But
Do you
Yeah.
think they're gonna do a game, Wade? Like
they
full
have
new
to do a game eventually. Yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna.
but
have
I don't know
to.
what they're gonna do. I don't.
Yeah, they'll figure
don't
it
know.
out. They
It's
can
hard.
do
It's
it.
hard because it's like Zelda can't. Like, how bigger can you get than one open world? I don't know.
Just
And then
new
the sky and the
Ooh,
depths
open
too. I
worlds.
don't know. We'll see.
I think hopefully if they go that route again, they'll maybe pack it a little bit more with content in the nooks and crannies of the world. Because I personally love exploring the world of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like that totally scratches the itch for me. But I've heard a lot of people who really loved the traditional Zelda games to complain that it was just kind of too empty sometimes. So I think if they go for another open world Zelda game, and I wish that they would, that maybe they just kind of put more into it so that they can keep the size of the world. The size of the world is huge. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But they just start stuffing more into it or having maybe a bit more complex of storyline or something. I hope that they increase like the quality. They don't have to make it bigger. We don't need bigger.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing is like both the games were delved into a world that was already ruined, like in ruins. So it's like ruins everywhere you go. But I want like full towns everywhere you go. You know, like towns and big dungeons and hard bosses because
more NPCs to interact with, all that stuff.
Yeah, because to me, being a longtime Zelda fanatic and connoisseur, as I'd say, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were just too easy. For me, you go into the bosses and you're like, oh, done, and move on because the game allows you to do that. So, all right, this is the last one I have for the night. If you guys know any more, you can feel free to shout them out. But this one's crazy to me. Donkey Kong Bonanza. It is a 3D Donkey Kong game, which we have not had since the N64. And yeah, it looks so good. They did a Treehouse live thing today, and I watched all of it, and I was like, I'm so ready. But
so cool, Wade.
What are you guys' thoughts on Donkey Kong's design? I've heard some concerns with it looking too much like he did in the movie versus his original design.
Right, and I think that's why they did it. People say that the movie design is more like his original design. Like if you take the pixelated one, bump it up, it would look more like this. So I understand what they're trying to do, and it just makes sense. You already did the movie like that. You might as well make him look like that, so you get more kids to be interested to play this game.
I don't think it's too drastic of a change, though. I mean, it's obviously Donkey Kong.
I mean, he looks more animated, I guess, instead of live action.
What type of game is this, Wade? It's not like a side scroller, is it? Like
No, Cam. Remember Donkey Kong 64's Adventure?
It's like this.
It's like that, where you go around and you collect banana. It's so it's like Mario Odyssey.
Yeah,
it's like Mario Odyssey for Switch 2. Is how it feels.
You get to like destroy the ground that you walk on. It's kind of looks intense.
Yep, and you're throwing the bricks everywhere, and you destroy the bananas. So
that's awesome. That's so
cool. Yeah, guys, is this a day one pickup for you?
Well, here's the thing. I love Mario Kart a lot. I was 100% expecting a new 3D Mario, in the vein of 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and Odyssey. I'm pretty shocked that wasn't a launch title. Now I'm pretty certain that it's going to be a title next summer to give them a second boost of sales. So I had already kind of been like, I want to get one because I was certain that it would be a Mario Kart and a 3D Mario. I still think I might get it. The new Mario Kart really looks good. And sometime later this year is Pokemon Legends Z to A. And I think that's going to be a pretty exciting game for Pokemon fans. And those two, I think enough are me would get me to buy it.
I personally wanted to wait until they released like a special edition that had different colors, just because I have the Animal Crossing Switch and I adore it. But I mean, I think we eventually plan on probably getting 2 Switch 2s anyway. So my purchase will likely just wait way down the line till I find something I like.
Yeah. So Cam or Colin, how much do you think the Switch 2 is going to be?
Is it like $500?
It's $450, but they have a bundle with Mario Kart for $500.
Dang.
But it's virtual, right?
So,
so
here's the thing, though.
Only, but yeah.
If the physical cart for Mario Kart, and Wade, I've seen what you're talking about. I don't know if it's for every game or not, but there is a design of the cart for a Switch 2 game that says this is just a pass that allows you to download the game.
I don't.
The game is not on.
Something I read said it in the fine print. If you read it, they're just calling it like a key card. So I don't know if that's every game, like you're saying. Like, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully not.
If it is every game, so here's the thing: the bundle with Mario Kart World is $500. So pretty much you're paying $50 for Mario Kart. If you buy Mario Kart World, if you go and you buy the game at Best Buy, $80.
Yeah, dude.
That's a
actually
$30
insane.
difference. Now that'd be worth it for me to be like, here's the case, it's
Yep.
on my shelf. Here's the game on the cart. But if it's just a key pass for a digital download, I don't know if $30 for a case is worth it.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
But then do I
You're-
play, or do I vote with my wallet and say, I don't care how you do it, I want to buy the game physically, even though I'm not really.
But they're pricing out
do I
all
do
the
that?
people who would maybe get the physical. You know, all those people who maybe done. You're not gonna do that. That's way too much. So
And then am I just a sucker for paying $30 extra? Shall I have a case on my
it's just the
shelf?
collectors who are gonna do that.
No. Yeah, well, and the other thing is, like, if I intend to get my own Switch so that we can play our own versions of the Pokemon games so they come out, blah, 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 like, whatever your reasoning is for that, if you have more than one person with a Switch in your house, then you get the one digital key code and you get to download it on one Switch and maybe share it, like you said, every 2 weeks or whatever.
Well, that's what we need to figure out. Is the cart a one time you punch it in and then it downloads, or is it you punch it in and then you're allowed to download it onto your
Yeah,
Switch?
I don't know, and that's the problem. It's not
Because
super
you still
clear.
need to put it in physically. You still need to put it in physically to play it. So it's not like you can buy one cartridge and put it in all your
Yeah.
friends' Switches.
Yeah.
And
Because
everyone has
I
the
just don't
game.
think that Nintendo is that generous to let you like give it to somebody else. They can download it and oh bam, they've got it forever instead of essentially loaning it from them every certain time period. And even if you live in the same house together, like that's just not something I'm interested in doing. I think
Yeah.
it's much more worth it to then get the game for $40 a piece if we got the solid cartridge, and then that way we can both put it in our own systems.
Yeah.
But that's kind of
Okay, we'll
a
get the
it's
physical
kind
one.
of a middle class problem. It's a little out of touch. So there's that too.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, Sarah, because you know how much was like a Nintendo DS, how much was a Wii. I mean, I'm sure you can adjust it for inflation and it's still expensive, but the sticker shock of $400+ and $80 games.
Mario Kart game is kind
Yeah,
of crazy.
an $80 Pro controller and a $30 camera. It's just like,
Gosh.
really,
Yeah.
Nintendo? You couldn't like include the camera at least? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's also about the microphone. That's not going to be cross-platform, right? So if you're playing any cross-platform games, does it still count as a mic like it does on any other console controller? Because if you got
Oh, you're
something
saying
like
like for like
playing,
Fortnite or something?
yeah,
someone's
something like
playing-
that, and then you
I
just got the
think it
exact
would,
same problem
but-
you had before.
Yeah, I don't know. See that they haven't answered those kind of questions. So
And I don't think they want to. I think they're a little stingy.
They were very, I like Nintendo, but they know that they have the market cornered. In the direct, they did everything they could to avoid talking about pricing. And something interesting too is that they're selling. So the Japanese, what is it? The yen. It's very poor right now. I mean, the conversion rate is like awful. Like their economy is struggling a bit. So how much the Switch 2 will cost in Japan in US money is $320.
oh,
So to combat people buying their Switch 2s from Japan, Switch 2s in Japan will only be Japanese. They won't have other languages.
Wow.
Or in Japan, they'll sell a multi-language version. It's $450, however
Huh.
much yen that is.
wild.
So they recognize that their home country is in an economic problem right now. But they know that people in the US will probably pay it.
That feels weird. Because on one hand, I'm like, wow, how nice of them to consider the fact that their own country, their community needs more
Yeah, I
affordable.
don't think
On the
it's
other hand, it's like that kind of feels like you're taking advantage of us then, just because we'll do it.
yeah, it's not nice of them. They're doing it to stay alive.
Yeah.
If they announced that it was $450 worth of yen, the Japanese people would probably revolt.
It's always going to be hard to swallow high price tags like that. It always has been, honestly, but it always
Well,
feels like
it's-
it gets worse just because of inflation.
It's just funny because the Switch 2 is not a crazier design. It's just more powerful. So it's just funny. It's like it went from 300 to 450. And it's like for
Also,
not that
no
much more.
OLED screen? That's weird, right?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You would figure that that's all wrapped up and that's where the Switch OLED was heading, but then they just have another screen. That means there's going to be some sort of update in the future where the only thing changes again is going to be an OLED screen. And it's like,
Nintendo
for
Switch
somebody
2
like
OLED.
me, that's not a huge
550
deal, but it's
Switch 2.5.
kind of sneaky.
Switch 2.5, yeah.
Exactly.
Gosh.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
that-
got an OLED for Christmas, and I'm like, nah, I'll wait a couple of years. I mean, I won't be to play Mario Kart World, but
Yeah.
You will if you come over to my house.
That's the key, is get a friend, you know.
Exactly.
Get a friend who's crazy
Game
enough
night.
to put it on a credit card.
I've got 2 questions for you guys. After
Okay.
hearing all this, I like Nintendo. I just sadly just bought a Nintendo Switch for the youth group, and now it's like I feel like it's obsolete a little bit, you know. But
No,
it's
no.
fine.
Dude,
no,
no.
the staying power of the Switch is phenomenal. It's
Here's my first question: do you sell your old Switch and buy the Switch 2? Is that your plan?
I
for you
can't bring
guys?
myself to do it. I really like my Switch personally, and honestly,
Dang.
Jacob would too. Ours have the and Wade would know this. Obviously, Wade's is also really special edition in terms of just like how it's
Yeah.
designed. I get really attached to stuff like that. So even though that makes the most sense financially, I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. So
Yeah.
that puts me in a weird spot.
yeah. Sarah has the Animal Crossing Switch, and I have the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Switch. I think part of buying those was, I want to have this. I have a feeling Wade's not going to sell his Tears of the Kingdom Switch.
But what about
It's
the other
so
one,
beautiful.
Wade?
It's a
Well, no,
Sheikah
so listen to I can't do it because I have too much on there. I know you can transfer save data, but I don't know.
Doing one game at a time is just
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thanks. But anyway,
might as well just play the new games on the new console and
Yeah,
kind of keep them separated.
exactly. That's my opinion. 'cause
Now,
as a physical
I can see myself.
guy, but yeah.
I can't see myself buying a Switch 2, this basic version, and then maybe in like 4 years when there's an awesome OLED new whatever Pokemon happens in 2030 version, I can see me selling the base Switch 2. Like Sarah said,
Yeah.
middle class
Gotcha.
problems.
Yeah.
I got to tell you this. My wife said I can get a Switch 2 if I sell one of my consoles or if the Barney tape sells.
Barney tape,
Oh,
Barney
no.
tape.
Barney
it.
tape,
Sell
please.
Somebody buy the Barney
Please
tape.
sell
please.
Barney tape. Please,
Please
someone out
buy
there.
the Barney tape.
Deep cut to the pod. Last question: is this equivalent to the Wii U? You know what I'm saying? Like with
That's
the,
what a lot of people are saying because
It's
the
like-
Wii, the Wii had so much success that they did almost the same thing, added a few new features like the gamepad to the Wii U, but
Yep.
no one bought the Wii U because they thought it was just the Wii extra or whatever,
Wii
like an
Extra.
accessory to the Wii. So,
I think that's where the naming will help. Wii U is a really
Yeah.
weird name. Even I, who had a Wii and loved a Wii, didn't quite fully understand what the Wii U
Right.
was. How is an adult going to understand it when they're buying it for their kid? Switch 2 is a lot smarter.
Marketing.
yeah, because I mean, PlayStation has done that for years and it's worked
Exactly.
great. So,
Mhm. And it's very clear to
And
gamers, yeah.
Xbox has done everything to not do it for
So
years.
it's almost like, hey, is the Switch like this? Is the Switch exists? We're gonna do a Switch 2. We'll do a Switch 3 because like we've cracked the code. Like with Xbox, it's the Xbox blank.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
No,
Maybe they're
and-
not
and
gonna
yeah.
change the name anymore.
yeah,
You know
that's what
I
they
mean?
mentioned. We mentioned earlier is like this is Nintendo's peak evolution. Is like
Mhm.
it's the perfect handheld mixed with TV mode. Kind of the max that they can, maybe the max that they can figure out. Like, I don't know what else you get. What's the next stage? Like what else could they do?
I just can't fathom where else you could go from here.
Yeah, unless it's like VR, but that everything VR kind of is, people don't care about it. So
Yeah, it's a
I
very
don't know.
gradual process for VR. We still have yet to see it in its best evolution, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool guys. Yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited
Is
for
it?
you.
not for our wallets.
Yeah. Jake, you have everything. You got Nintendo, you got movies, you got Legos. Jeez, dude.
Sorry, Sarah.
Well,
I like them too.
You
It's
like
a
them
rough,
too, if
it's a
that's
rough
what you gotta
gamut.
do.
just don't ask if our savings account exists.
We're working on it. Now that I've got a job too, we'll be building up our income and everything, so it'll be
Awesome.
better. But it was gonna get into scary territory, that's for sure.
All right, Wade. Let's look at these comments here we got from Sam.
Oh, did he say more?
Yeah. And then we'll head out. We went way longer. Sorry, Wade.
He
that's
says,
my
"Yawn,
bad.
call me when I can play as Funky Kong and hit grand slams with a surfboard while I belt out yo yo yo." That is a reference from Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii.
I did not know Sam was such a Nintendo guy.
Yeah, one time he came over and that's all he wanted to play, and so we played it, and he absolutely wrecked me. So,
That's awesome.
and then he also said
man.
this. Hopefully, we get deepfake AI Robin Williams and Jumanji 4. Oh,
The idea
no.
of that makes me want to throw up. For
Yeah.
We
real.
would do that too.
Straight
to
Hollywood
jail.
would do that.
Straight to jail.
though for them. Hollywood would do that.
I
They did
bet
it with
someone's
Ghostbusters.
talked about it.
Sacrilegious, irreverent.
You know that Colin's right. You know they've talked about it. They've had
Oh,
serious
no.
conversations.
We caught them
about
in
it.
the act. We caught you. That's hilarious. All right, guys, are we good?
We're good. We made it through all
That was
that
our
content.
longest pod. No, wait,
That was
no,
a
maybe
crazy
not.
week, actually.
Of news and
That was a
updates.
crazy week of news.
A lot
A lot
happened.
happened. Maybe we'll break down Minecraft next week, Wade. It's up to you, Wade.
Oh gosh.
We could all go to see it together with Jake. Jake, would you see it?
Okay, here's the thing about Minecraft and Colin saying that he liked it. I told Sarah yesterday when I saw a trailer, I was like, this movie doesn't look bad like Boss Baby 2 or like Emoji Movie bad. It looks like kid movie bad. And I can see kids that are 8 right now, and Colin, in 20 years saying, wow, why did people hate the Minecraft movie? The Minecraft movie was so good because they're growing up with it.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
Hmm.
that kind of movie that, you know, we talk so much about like the old Scooby-Doo movies with like Matthew Lillard, and which have bad reviews. Some of them, the shockingly bad
James Gunn
reviews.
directed.
And, yeah, and yet we're like, yes, these movies are awesome. I think that's a Minecraft movie in 20 years.
Yeah,
I
probably.
could see that. That's
And I haven't
pretty
seen
accurate.
it. I just saw a trailer and I was like, I think that's what's happening.
It's
here.
definitely going to be, because it's like, I think pretty mixed right now in terms of critic reviews. But I do definitely feel like it's going to be like one of those cult movies. But then again, like anything Jared Hess has done, it's a cult movie. Napoleon Dynamite, Natural Leader, like it's
Yeah.
that sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some people hate it, some people love it. And so
All right, guys. Thanks for being on here. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, Instagram. Subscribe to our new YouTube channel. This is like how many episodes have we done on
We're
YouTube,
8 in,
Wade?
Cam.
8 in. This is episode 114 overall on our podcast. That's insane.
That is
We've been doing this for 3 years. That's super hype, guys. Yeah, happy anniversary to the pod as well. 3 years back in March. So yeah, guys, super hype. Thanks for following along with us. Email us at the Webinar Seminar Podcast Gmail, right, Wade? If you have any
Webinar Seminar
input,
Podcast at gmail.com.
at Gmail, yeah, and we'll get back to you. All right, guys, peace. Thank you. Bye.